Right, so my academic background started off in education. I studied in South Africa and went into teaching, and after a few years of teaching decided to move into business and moved into sales and marketing. And so my professional career has developed in sales and marketing, various areas of sales, area management, regional management, culminating in my current position now as CEO of an importer, of a national sales company, of an automobile manufacturer in a market where we are growing rapidly at the moment. I guess the Anaheim University program that I went through was at a very crucial part of my time and my career and my development, in that I'd moved to Japan at the time. I was taking on a new position in the Japanese market, and found myself at a stage where I needed to broaden my horizons to get a lot more business experience. It was my first overseas assignment, and I used the opportunity and the time that I had available to study after hours and on the weekends, and using the web-based learning system that Anaheim offered to get a full understanding of how a business works, how all the different divisions are interconnected, and to give me a broader understanding of what it takes to run an import car business. I guess the best way for me to have put everything into place was both while I was studying. I could use the course, the studies, as a kind of a benchmarking, as a kind of using examples out of the industry for my assignments and for the group works and for the work that we did online. I could use those examples straight from the market that I was working in. And subsequently, as I moved through from Japan to China, I was able to implement a lot more of the financial side, the statistical side, the management side, and the broad overview of the business. And now that I'm in Korea, it gives me a great opportunity to put all of those things together, so where I have the full responsibility for a business that has a turnover. Now we have a turnover around about $450 million US. So it's not a small business, but I've been able to take all of those skills that I learned through the MBA program and put them really into practice now. Of course, the knowledge gained is universal, and management, leadership, finance, it's the same all the world over. And I guess everything we learned on the MBA program I've been able to put it into practice here. I guess what you have to do is you have to localize. You have to take time to get to know the culture, to get to know the people, to get to know the country and the way things work here. And then you take the best out of all of that you've learned and apply it to the market that you're working in or the country that you're working in, taking into consideration all the cultural differences. But definitely the knowledge and understanding what an MBA brings can be implemented in any country in the world. I don't specifically look for MBAs, but what I definitely do, if I have a number of candidates that are going for the same job, I guess for me the MBA would get the advantage, because I'd understand that the MBA candidate has a much broader understanding of the business, a much broader understanding of how the different divisions are interconnected and how the different divisions can influence each other in the running of a business. And for me, I think that's a crucial issue. If I look at my sales or my after-sales guys, I have to understand that they know that if they make a decision, it's going to have an impact on the finances of the company or on the HR of the company or whatever it is. And I guess from the MBA program, you get a full understanding of all the different aspects of a business and the interconnectivity between the business. So I would definitely look at an MBA candidate a lot more favorably than one who doesn't have an MBA. And yes, I guess I would really like to see a lot more MBA candidates in the Asian market. The way we study an MBA program gives a lot more diverse way of studying. It's not really like parrot learning like happens in a lot of Asian universities. It's self-exploratory learning using benchmarks out of the industry, and case studies out of the industry, which makes the students want to study for themselves, learn for themselves, and be creative in the way they solve problems. I guess because I'm South African by birth, for me the role model that I've always tried to look up to is Nelson Mandela. There's a guy who's he was incarcerated 27 years, came out of jail and immediately came out with a positive attitude and immediately set about making change and a difference to the world that he came into. And I guess that's for a lot of South Africans has been the aspiration, is to be like him, to approach life like him, and to forget about the differences that he had with his oppressors in the past, and put the positive things to work, embracing change, going forward, looking forward with a positive attitude, and making a difference to the world. And I guess that's probably why I model my way of looking at business on whatever Nelson Mandela has achieved in his life. Being a foreign manager in an Asian country is of course very challenging. In a country like Korea or Japan, where you have, specifically in the motor industry, where you have a very strong local industry, as coming in as an import brand, you have to take into account that there's a lot of protectionism in place. And as a manager, you have to tread very carefully so as not to go against the rules and regulations of the country, because you're always open to attacks from the local media, from the local authorities. You have to really be very careful as how you approach the business here in these kind of countries where this protectionism exists. And being a foreign manager, you really need to take some time to understand your people, to understand the local conditions, the cultures, and how to run the business locally. And then you have to find a happy mix between your international way of looking at a business, or the direction that comes from your head office, to your local way of running a business. And you have to kind of mix and match it together so that you have a fully operational business according to the rules and regulations of your home country, but successful in the country that you're working in, taking into account the rules and regulations in the country that you're working in at the same time. I never really want to stop learning. So I'm always looking at new opportunities to learn, or to understand different things, to explore new ways and new innovative ideas. And I guess that's what life's all about. It's continuous learning, continuous improvement, continuously looking at new ways of doing things. And higher education for me is definitely a step in the right direction, and a step to helping me get to be able to run a company in a country, and which has always been a dream of mine. This question I get quite often from the journalists in each of the countries, and it also has to be handled really, really sensitively, because the three markets are not too far away from each other, but they are three incredibly different markets. I think you start off with the Japanese market. It's a very old and established market, almost 100 years old. It has a very strong history, a very strong local manufacturing base, a traditionally small import market. But the structure of the market is very well structured. It's a very conservative market. There's no big growth in that market, but it's good, it's strong, and it's a very nice and easy market to work in. The Chinese market, on the other hand, is new, it's young, it's booming, and it's kind of everybody getting into the Chinese market as quickly as possible. So the rules and regulations are completely different. Everybody is trying to get into the market. They're trying to gain a piece of the pie as quickly as possible. So it's a different dynamic in the Chinese market. And the Korean market is somewhere in between.